Hey guys, I'm Natalie Hodge. Welcome to Snapcoms, where we bring you news in a snap. We should all be aware that the hurricane season occurs from the months June through November. Coming out of the traumatic 2017 storms and the experiences we had from the impacts of both Hurricanes Irma and Maria, the team at the BVI Red Cross saw it fit to join us today to talk about preparedness for disasters as well as how the organization can assist our community. Joining me on today's program is Disaster Management Officer, Ms. Christy Creaky, and Deputy Disaster Management Officer, Ms. Maureen Fraser. All right, Ms. Creaky, I'd first like to ask you, why is it important for persons to assess the risk that for hazards around our homes and businesses when preparing for disasters?
Well, you would need to locate the areas where around your home that has the most vulnerabilities so that you can plan in order to either lessen the risk of the impact of any potential hazard, or you would want to determine whether you need to stay in that place if a hazard like a hurricane had to come and impact the area.
So it's important to assess any loose items that need to be put away.
Yeah, you definitely need to clean up, especially around your home, so to prevent any kind of flying hazards that may impact you, may impact other people, and you don't want to cause that.
And then also, adding to that, if your home is in a area that can be easily compromised, then you have to make that decision.
Definitely need to make that decision as early as possible, make that assessment as early as possible, so that you can either decide to stay by another place, whether it's with other family, or you need to determine what shelter you want to go to.
Okay, so now what advice you have for us during this time? Everyone's dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, and we're all focusing on the health hygiene and social distancing protocols. What advice is there for us? How do we focus on more than one hazard at a time, especially in this era right now?
Yeah, you would definitely need to plan early. That is what we're pushing for everyone to do, to plan early. You don't want to get in a situation where everyone is in a rush to buy the same things you're trying to buy all in at one time. So persons need to go out now from before as well and get the supplies that they need in preparation for both hazards.
Okay. Now, just tell me, in your experience, what have you seen around homes and businesses that you wish people would take more consideration when preparing for a disaster, when preparing their homes? What is it that they're not taking into consideration that you may have seen that should be taken into consideration?
Well, I've seen that people tend to procrastinate, and what I definitely know is something that a former teacher used to always tell me: procrastination is a thief of time. So don't wait, don't underestimate the potential for a storm to come to the area, because we just sit down and wait and hope. No, wait, we're hoping that nothing comes, and then it ends up coming, and we're all out there trying to search for what we don't know where it is.
Okay, as you mentioned procrastination, I'm going to turn to you, Ms. Fraser. So let me ask you, if someone wants to prepare their home or their business, and that could also mean not just securing the exterior, but getting the supplies, the emergency pack and stuff together, but then they don't have the financial means to do so. Does the Red Cross assist in this way, where someone can say, well, I don't have batteries for my flashlight, I don't have a rope, and all these other things that we're supposed to carry in the kit? Because I know all too well that's supposed to be in this emergency bag. But are there things put in place with the Red Cross organization for persons who may need that extra assistance to prepare, and so they may procrastinate or may not be able to prepare because they do not have the financial means at the time? They're like, I can't really afford this right now. I need to get the bag, but I can't do it right now. Has the organization thought about that and put something in place for persons who may need a little bit of assistance in that area?
Well, in previous times, what we did in the ways of assistance before a storm or hurricane, what we normally did, we gave out sandbags. We also had trucks come in and deliver sand, and we gave out jugs for filling water, and that's as far as we go. We do have our contingency stock. However, it's for mainly more after the disaster when people would actually need the stuff. And that's what we do. But at present, for you to come and say, oh, we need batteries at Red Cross, no, at this time, we don't do that. But after the storm, we do a general assessment, and we would give out tops, we would give out ropes, we would give out buckets, once the need and the assessment is done for the most vulnerable people that actually needs this.
All right, now as you speak about stock and having your emergency stock and partnering with government, how is it important, that partnership with government? How does that strengthen your response for the community?
That would be a good question for Christy to answer.
Well, with the pre-positioned stocks on the various islands, we're able to move early, soon after a storm. And with that, our volunteers on the various islands, they would be able to provide assistance in the distribution aspect of our response. So it's definitely helpful to have that partnership with the Department of Disaster Management in terms of the entire disaster management program for the territory.
All right, Ms. Fraser, tell us, why is it important for the organization to have persons volunteer?
Volunteerism is basically the backbone of Red Cross because, one, the staff can't do it alone, and because of they can't do it alone, we need such volunteers coming in. Every volunteer that comes in, they come in with a skill set. Some are good with dealing with persons, some are good with dealing with numbers, but it's very important that we have volunteers to carry out the number of programs that we have available and what is going on in the Red Cross. So we have a fundraising team, we have a first responder team, we have a social team, we have several teams, and it's like you don't want to burden one person or one volunteer to spearhead all of the other programs that we have running. So we always need volunteers. You can't be too young, you can't be too old. We always need volunteers, and especially after a disaster, we have another program called RFL, which is Restoring Family Links, which means we need persons on the phone that can contact families off island, letting them know where their relatives are on island and how is their well-being.
All right, so is that one of the other ways that persons can support the organization? They want to volunteer, maybe they can't do it on a regular basis physically, but then they can assist with the RFL?
They can do it at RFL, and
what other ways?
And in other ways, we have what we call a thrift shop, where people donate clothes, household items, and we always need personnel in the thrift shop to sort, to sell, to organize, to rearrange. We always need persons in our thrift shop. So even without a time of disaster, we always need person there. And at a certain time, we also looking for volunteers where we can have persons teach classes. And we also always need drivers. So if you can't do it physically or you don't have the means monetarily to donate to the Red Cross, we are always looking able-bodied volunteers.
All right, so you mentioned the thrift shop, so I'm going to put you in a hot seat. So persons donate to the thrift shop, and the Red Cross will sell those items. The items are for sale, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay, tell us what happens to that monetary, that money that comes in from the sale? Where does that go to? So persons are aware that when you do donate to the organization, how that helps the community, in what ways?
Well, the monies that are taken, well, first, when the clothes come in, let me interject that we have, as I said before, we sort. Because some people donate stuff that is just fit to go in the garbage. So we have to be mindful of when we are donating. We are not going to turn away a donation, but you would have to ask yourself, would I use this item? Can I use this item? Would I give this item to a family member of mine? And if you answer yes, sure, bring it, we will take it. So the proceeds, Christy, correct me if I'm wrong, the proceeds from the thrift shop goes back into the Red Cross, where we buy our contingency stock. We also, well, that's most of it. We run our programs where we have to go out to different communities. It also helps with us having transportation-wise, because basically, we at Red Cross basically have to pay for everything.
It's volunteer. Everything's volunteer.
Yes, and the volunteers, let me reiterate, volunteering, you do not get paid. It's voluntarily, and you do it from the heart.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. So, seeing that we're going through the COVID-19 pandemic, my other question is, as we are observing social distancing protocols, are persons still able to take first aid certification classes and those type of stuff that the Red Cross offers?
Yes, they can. However, before pre-COVID, we used to have a class of maybe 20. But now, because of space constraint and social distancing, we have maybe 6 is the most, so that they can be kept at the safe 6 feet apart. So it's been down to a minimal, but we do have intentions of continuing basic first aid classes.
Okay, great. Is there anything any one of you would like to leave our audience before we wrap the program?
I would just like to add hurricane, the heighten of the hurricane season is less than 2 months away, and 2 months is not far. Just say 1, 2, and it's here. And at this time in July, your final preparation, whether it's food, whether it's all the necessities, your first aid kit, everything shouldn't be finalized at least by the end of July. Don't wait until there is long lines, the social distancing where only 4 people are allowed in the supermarket, where there are limits. Not saying that you should hoard all the batteries and all the water, but now is the time to have your stock based on the amount of family members are in your household. So as I would always say, get ready. It's better to prepare and prevent than repair and repent. So now is the time to make all your final preparations.
Got it. Anything, Christy?
Well, just like for the public to know that we have some family emergency plan booklets that allow for persons to come together with their families and plan out not just for hurricanes but for all hazards, so that you're well prepared, everyone understands what they need to do, and that response would be pretty much seamless when things get really ramped up in times of disaster. So we also have it on the website for persons on our website, www.redcross.vg. You can go to the tab Prepare for Emergencies and go to Resources, and you'll find the emergency plan booklet. It's both in English and in Spanish, so it caters to the public in this way. So
great. So if you can leave us with the numbers for persons who may want to volunteer
You can call us at 494-6349. We're always available for you.
Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday.
All right. Thank you both, Ms. Fraser and Ms. Christie, for joining us today on our program to talk to us a bit about preparing our homes and businesses for disasters during this hurricane season. That's it for today, guys. I'm Natalie Hodge signing off. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday and Thursday to SnapComs, where we bring you news in a snap.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Twitter, and Facebook at BVI Government and Instagram at GIS BVI.